Hey guys, it's Lion here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're going to be looking at Chain Soldier. Again, we're going to be doing another review. We're going to be looking at the second half of the Hidden Village arc. Then that means that we're covering chapters 36 through 44, which are contained in the second half of this book. So this part here, after the bookmark there, and the front half of this book, which is up to there, right? So it basically covers one volume across two different ones, and it's pretty good. So, and yeah, it's written by Takahiro, with art by Yohei Takemura, and you guys know all of the other book facts. In terms of adaptation, I think the adaptation is out already. I'm not sure. I don't really keep up with Seedle anime all that much, so I honestly can't tell you if it's out yet or not. But if I remember correctly, it should have either come out this season or next season, but who knows, right? But I did see a trailer for it, and it looks pretty good. But I really just recommend you read the manga instead. In ratings wise, this is a 5 out of 5 for me, which is the rating it had originally when I did the first half. And it's just because this might not be the best story ever, but it is immensely entertaining while I read it. And it doesn't do anything except what it promised you it would do. And what it promised you it would do is have cool action, right? Ecchi stuff. And have fun with it, right? And it does that. And it also manages to also be a really interesting world building type of story, which is kind of rare for these types of ridiculous ecchi fantasy series, right? Or maybe it's not, and I just haven't read any good ones. I don't know, but it works out really, really well. I really enjoy my time with this. So I continue to give it 5 out of 5s because it just continues to be great, right? So yeah, in terms of what happens here, maybe in terms of premise first, basically the battle continues, and then it's all about trying to get Yuki to Aoba's side, or to keep him with the defense squad, right? And so they're battling it out, and then there's kind of an intervention. A third party emerges, and this third party is rather dangerous, right? And that's basically what this is about. So the plotline here starts with the Azuma twins fighting Naon, who hides in the ground with her special hidden beauty technique or whatever it's called. And the Azuma twins get back to back. They're in a much better place now than they were before. After the tournament arc, they have found a new way to interact with each other that is helpful and good for both of them, right? Which is great. And they come up with a plan. Himari manages to use her new skill, which turns her hair into a ball of guns, which sounds insane, but it's actually pretty cool when she does it in context of the story, right? She uses this to draw Naon out because she can shoot in every direction, basically, right? And then this forces Naon to escape from the ground. Otherwise, she would get hurt unless she went deeper, but I guess she can't go deeper, and so this works. Once this happens, the other twin, Yachiho, manages to figure out where Naon is located, uses her golden time thing to revert time backwards so that Himari can save her strength, and then tells her exactly where to shoot with pinpoint accuracy, and they draw Naon out again without having to deal with destroying the cave that they're in, right? Which is really, really good. I really enjoyed this this strategy. I think it worked really, really nicely, and it shows you that the author is really trying to make his battles interesting, right? It's not just about getting it done with quickly so that you can move on to the ecchi stuff. Like, every part of this story is important to this author, at least it seems that way, and I really appreciate that. I think it's great. And so they win against Naon. Then we move on to Shushu and Sahara, who are also winning, but kind of struggling a bit more. Sahara is tired, and so she's hiding in Shushu's cleavage, I guess. And they're talking about how they're having to fight the same character over and over again, but that they're not going to lose against someone that they already defeated, right? And so they managed to win once more, which is good. Then we move on to Kyoka, who's fighting with alongside Tenka against Aoba, And then Kyoka is sidelined because she ends up fighting the unicorn, Shuki, while Tenka and Aoba have this funny interaction where Tenka tries to call Aoba older sister, or sister in general, because she's in love with Yuki or whatever. She's like, this is a family quarrel, and I need to do my best against you. And Aoba finds it like annoying, and I found it really funny. And so they fight, and Aoba shows off her powers, but Tenka manages to kind of tank it, but also maybe it basically becomes a battle of attrition. But Tenka has enough resources available to her in terms of her like ability that the attrition isn't possible, and so Aoba has to overpower her instead. But Tenka manages to tank the attack, even if it does put her out of commission, as in the sense that she doesn't die from the attack, right? She manages to survive. And the reason why Aoba manages to hit her is because Tenka was about to try to kill her and then hesitated because it would make Yuki sad. And she mentions this to Aoba later, and Aoba is actually quite happy about that. She says that it's good that she would put Yuki's feelings ahead of her own. And so I guess Aoba likes Tenka to an extent, which is pretty fun. Kyoka manages to stall the unicorn enough, but when Tenka gets defeated, the 8 gods show up, the Raijin or whatever they're called, and actually only 2 of them show up. I can't remember their names, to be honest with you. One of them is like a small, like, lolly evil person, and the other one is like a big Amazonian type chick. And they have different powers, but I can't really tell you what the difference between them is, to be honest, nor do I remember their names. I'm sure they become really important later, but in this arc, it just didn't really feel all that necessary, or like it didn't feel necessary for me to pay attention to their names, and so I just didn't. But I probably will have to when I read the next arc, right? And so the 8 gods managed to cause enough chaos for Yuki to free himself, and then they grab the unicorn and they remove whatever enchantment Aoba had put on it to make it like her loyal pet, and this makes it go crazy and rampage, right? And so Yuki and Kyoka team up and they attack the unicorn in such a way that Ryoka manages to basically avenge her village using her chaotic cherry blossom attack, which is pretty cool. And the thunder gods leave because they're like, okay, well, we got what we came for, which is Aoba's friends, Naon and the other one, I can't remember her name, which they're going to feed to one of their fellow 8 gods who's still trying to emerge. And they are interested in Yuki, but they're not so interested. They're going to try to, hurt him right now. And so they leave. And then we move on to what they're doing, which is gathering their forces. There's 8 of them, but only 7 of them are awake right now. They're waiting for the last one to awake. And in order for it to do so, it needs to consume other Yuki. And so Shuki, sorry. And so they sent Naon and the other girl for it to consume. And it does eat them, but I didn't feel like the weight of their deaths. So I don't think that they're dead, right? So I don't know. And then we get introduced to the Captain Assembly, which is set up for the next arc. And that's basically all that happens here. And it's pretty good. In terms of characters, I think that the dynamic between Tenka and Aoba was good. I like the growth that Yuki and Kyoka experienced through, joining forces. And I'm happy that Kyoka managed to get the revenge she needed on the Yuki that hurt her village, right? So I think that will be a really good thing for her. It'll help her move on and get stronger and get better. But it might also hurt her because now she doesn't really have a reason to really harbor that much desire to grow. So I'm not really sure how it's going to happen, but it'll be curious to see how that goes. And then we're introduced to the Lolly Raijin with the darkness powers, the big Amazon one with the wings. There's a third guy, which I think we've seen before, but I can't remember his name. And then the egg god, which is the one that needs to hatch, right? So yeah, this Somehow it reminds me a little bit of Digimon, to be honest with you. I'm not really sure why, but it does remind me of like the plot line of the first Digimon story. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just feel like there was something similar in Digimon that I remember, but I don't know what it is exactly. Yeah, and so world building wise, we get introduced to the Thunder Gods properly. We learned that humanoid Shuki are not the same thing as the Thunder Gods. The Thunder Gods are actually full monsters, whereas the humanoid Shuki are just humans that ate fruits that had a bad reaction to them, which made them turn into monstrous creatures. And so it's not the same thing. They're quite different, although the gods are definitely sentient Shuki, just not based on human DNA, right? So that's kind of interesting there. In terms of artwork and fan service, again, it's phenomenal. I love the art. I like all of the fan service. I think it's quite fun. So far, nothing has really gotten too pervy. Like there's a certain level of like a threshold of things where like, okay, it's like, okay, this fetish is a little bit too much for me. I don't think it's gotten that far, but I can't remember how I feel after each volume, right? I only remember how I feel about these two, and there was nothing too crazy in this one, right? So, yeah, in terms of rating, like I said, it's a 5 out of 5. It continues to be really enjoyable. So, if you've been thinking about reading this and you haven't really given it a chance, I recommend you do. It's definitely worth it if you're interested in, you know, a cool action series that also has a lot of ecchi fan service to it. This is definitely for you. If you're someone that's kind of squeamish about fan service type stuff, stay away. Don't even bother. It's honestly for the best. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought down below, and thank you guys once again. See you guys later.